Good morning, hockey fans. This is Stephen Heisler with HeisHockey.com, the Victorious Hockey Company, and the really ridiculous junior hockey discussion group on Facebook. 8,200 plus members. Not sure how that happened so fast. Today is Thursday, May 18th. We're one day away from the beginning of the Robertson Cup Finals in Blaine, Minnesota. This is a Junior Hockey Morning Show. You can watch this on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Got to get the homework done, Tommy. If I don't say that, I get in trouble. Today's guest, Anthony Bohn, former head coach of the El Paso Rhinos, longtime player in the North American Hockey League, longtime assistant. Now he's coaching the Windy City Storm in Chicago, living the life in the big city. Good morning, Anthony. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm good.
We caught him in the gym. He wasn't quite aware that this was on Eastern time. Hey, Anthony, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Working out. It's Robertson Cup week. Today we're going to look at the Oklahoma Warriors. Kind of hard not to call them the Oklahoma City Warriors, but we do that. In 17 years of North American Hockey League action in Wichita Falls, the various teams have advanced to the finals of the Robertson Cup one time. That was in 2015-16 when the Wildcats lost the championship game to the Fairbanks Ice Dogs. Anthony, where were you when that was going on?
I was coaching in Topeka, Kansas with the Topeka Roadrunners when they made that run with LaFontaine's team, and they kind of turned it around and went on a good run. They went with, to be honest, a bunch of young guys and got to see them develop, and they just took off and made it all the way to the end.
Now, John LaFontaine, I still talk to him on occasion. Probably one of the best coaches I've ever known in the NAHL. Yeah. Really strong man of faith, and he went up to Muskegon, and it wasn't the same as Wichita Falls for sure, but I think he's coaching high school hockey, and he does it from the heart, right? And it's a good way.
One of the best coaches and classiest people around.
Absolutely. You want to fast forward to 2019 when the expansion Warriors were awarded to owner Marianne Choi. Hope I didn't say that wrong. And we see 2 more years of playoff frustration in Wichita Falls. You were in El Paso to see the Warriors begin to gain power. What were some of the biggest signs that Wichita Falls was going to have a bright future?
Well, one, I think just the ownership and Garrett Roth being behind the bench. They had Keenan Kelly at the beginning, and Roth did an excellent job of surrounding himself with good people. And Roth he's one of the coach of the year. He's one of the best coaches in the league. And to recruit to that area and recruit to him and believe in what he's building there. And they were able to attract some high-end players. And now they're reaping the rewards of it for sure.
It's hard. I think the first year when you come onto the bench as a head coach, after being a long-time assistant, there's going to be some speed bumps along the way and learning curves to kind of establish your own sense. And, Keenan was a good coach, but those two really didn't hit it off, and he was gone after a year. I think last year Roth did a fantastic job, and this year he's really kind of come into a zone as a head coach, spent a lot of time in Bismarck under Lane Sedeve, and I think now he's really got the team rolling and doing a good job.
Absolutely. No, I've known Roth for a really long time back in the Bismarck days, and just number one, just a great person. And then, obviously as you kind of get into the head coaching role, you kind of develop your own style, language, verbiage, and they had a great year.
Absolutely. The Warriors moved from Texas to Oklahoma in the offseason, from a professional arena in Wichita Falls to what is essentially a practice rink in Oklahoma City in hopes of a brighter future and opportunities. The team has struggled to attract a lot of support in Oklahoma City, and that may be a little bit of sour grapes because the Warriors kind of displaced the Oklahoma Sooners, a ACHA club program that was playing out of the same rink. Not sure that's what's going on, but for some reason or the other, Oklahoma City was a great hockey town for many, many years with the Blazers, and they just haven't embraced the Warriors the same way. Do you think it's the facility, or will OKC fans begin to really get behind this team?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell different markets, the reasons why things work and why they don't. They have a fantastic product they have on the ice that, hopefully catches more steam in the community to attract more people. And obviously they're probably heavily in the community, and, you got to build from the grassroots and kind of get the mojo going a little bit. And, that's a hockey town. They've had hockey back from the early 90s and whatnot from the pro days. So you got to hope that it'll catch fire even more. And with the success they're having this year, hopefully it just builds hockey in Oklahoma City.
On the ice, it's clear the move did the trick because the 22-23 version of the Warriors was the best team in the league. They rolled through their divisional playoff opponents and now find themselves competing for the Robertson Cup this week in Blaine. What do you feel are the keys to the Warriors' success this weekend against the Wilderness?
Yeah, like one of the key traits that, Oklahoma City and Garrett Roth's teams always had is like they move the puck better than most teams in North America, to be honest. Like the way they move the puck and move and, unselfish play, breaking out clean and going off the rush is probably their key strengths. Watching them from coaching against them and then watching them this past year. And, if they're kind of humming on all cylinders in those categories, they're tough to beat. South Division's a different beast. So going into the Robinson Cup, it's always interesting to see competing against another division and what they're like, and the Wilderness playing on a bigger sheet all season long, and then you're coming into the Robinson Cup where it's a little tighter, just naturally being a Final Four setup, and then just the rink itself being normal size. It'll be interesting. Both teams are really well coached. Really, I have two former players who play on the Wilderness that were with me in El Paso that I want to see them have success as well. But it'll be a good matchup for sure.
You look at Roth and you look at Bismarck in his time there. I thought I would see a team in the Warriors that resembled more what the Bobcats have been doing all these years, but that's not really what happened, is it? That team is completely different than the way the Bobcats are operated, especially in their systems.
Yeah, I think just, it's just the stylistic play and mindset of, comes from the head coach, comes from the top down. And, you can't knock them. Like they are one of the best teams that power through the league in I don't know how many years, and their power play is dangerous. They got scoring from the back end. They always create from the amount of depth that they have, and they're dangerous. They're a dangerous team.
They can roll lines, right? They just roll. They kind of remind me of the old Texas Tornadoes when they were rocking and up in Dallas. And roll three lines with no weaknesses, and it was hard to go up against those guys.
Absolutely.
So who broke Tony Critelli, right? What coach finally got the best of Tony? Do you know his name?
No.
It's really easy. John Cooper. And after John Cooper took him to behind the woodshed, Tony kind of got out of there, in Texarkana and then over in St. Louis. That was his nemesis. John ended up doing pretty good for himself,
Yeah, it worked out well for him.
Who knew that all it was going to take was a move to Oklahoma for the Warriors to have success? It's going to be very easy to consider Garrett Roth's crew as a favorite to take the cup, but it would be a serious mistake for the Warriors to go into the semifinal against the Wilderness with too much confidence. Anthony, there has to be a sense of accomplishment just getting to an event like the Robertson Cup. What does Roth and his staff have to do off the ice to keep his team grounded this week?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody is satisfied to get to the Robinson Cup and be happy with that. All four teams that are there, like you hear it in the NHL playoffs, guys, just on to the next one. With them having the type of year that they had, the biggest thing is just your mindset coming in because everyone starts from scratch again. Like you're back to another best of three series, and it doesn't matter what your record was in the regular season, and the team you're playing against really doesn't care either, because you're 3 wins away from taking the whole thing. So it's reset back to it, and you're not taking anything for granted, because these opportunities don't come around very often, and such an incredible league and tough league to play in, to have success. And when you're that close, 3 wins away, like, it's just business as usual and stay focused on the task at hand.
Very good. While the Warriors have been able to capture and maintain their position atop the South Division, they've also persevered through the move to Oklahoma, playing and practicing in what certainly is a substandard arena for NAHL standards, and whatever else the opponents in the division can toss their way. Your Rhinos were tossed an entire pile of curveballs by the GM and owners. Looking back on that, what are some of the most frustrating situations you had to deal with and now can only laugh at?
Yeah, but it's an expansion season. You're kind of always fighting an uphill battle, because you don't have established players. You don't have an established, setup as far as what you're bringing in the type of player you want, and you're kind of settling, and you're kind of trying to figure out pieces, and you're always moving pieces in and out. And then obviously when the decision was made to transition to collect assets, it was incredibly tough. That all you can do is look back, and kind of, it's something that we went through together as a staff. And you always take a positive out of it, that, hey, we learned different things, even though it was sometimes the hardest thing we've ever been through. And it's, I guess everybody in junior hockey knows, and in the hockey world knows, it's always part of it, and there's ups and downs, and it is what it is, and you move on.
The Rhinos had a legendary bus, and the same bus is still rolling. I can just imagine some of those overnight trips from Shreveport to El Paso had to be 16 to 18 hours, right, on the bus between one city and the other. What were your stops along the way? Did the bus stop, or did the buses keep rolling through? And did you guys stop at truck stops, or what did you guys do?
Yeah, no, the original bus, something happened with it. So we were taking coach buses that far, and we just made normal stops along the way, just like any other team. Truck stops, rest stops, and but yeah, they were far. We got caught in traffic one time. That was interesting, going through Dallas. So that one put us behind 2-3 hours, which made it a little tough. I think we missed a practice because of it, but it's part of it. Anybody that's in the league, or in hockey in general, when you get on the bus, it's part of the journey of your team and what we do and why we love it.
Absolutely. Yes, it's safe to say that this club, the Warriors, is in a really good position to bring the first Hockey League championship back to Oklahoma City since the Central Hockey League's Blazers captured the Ray Myron Cup 22 years ago. Maybe the Okies will realize they have a great team by this time next week. I wonder if they can still make ice at the old Myron Center. Anthony, when El Paso's issue with El Paso's issue regarding the new bridge, that the new border bridge going from Mexico into the United States, having a very good possibility of demolishing that arena, and then the Warriors' issues getting fans to a rec rink, would it not make more sense for the Rhinos and Warriors to be playing on the radio in the Rio Grande Valley?
That's for higher ups to figure out than me. I've been to Rio Grande Valley before, when I was in Topeka. I mean, great. The city is, a great city, and the rink was fantastic. It was a pro facility, and the setup, and I hear Laredo is basically identical to Rio Grande. You would hope that you want to keep those two teams in the division, obviously, to keep the continuity. Like I said, those are higher up decisions than me. But Rio Grande and Laredo are, two good spots, and you'd want to keep those two teams in the division.
I spent a lot of time down in that area, and Rio Grande Valley is El Paso or the beach. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the beach. South Padre Island is just an amazing place to go, and I can imagine that recruiting a team for down there would be pretty easy to do. But that's interesting. We're going to have a good show tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you who the guest is, because I want to drive Minnesota Wilderness General Manager Dave Boyd's crazy. Dave is a former head coach. What can go wrong? I'm sure they all love you. Nothing but positive things to say about the Wilderness tomorrow. We're looking forward to talking about those guys tomorrow. But Anthony, you're in the Windy City today. Should be nice, high of 90 today there, right?
It is. It's going to be nice. We're actually the whole coaching staff's going golfing today, so that's where I'm heading after this.
Take and do some surfing down there?
No.
All right, folks. Until tomorrow, we hope that you enjoy your morning coffee.